For years, people believed Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver had built the impossible. The movie star. The Kennedy. The perfect American family. No screaming scandals. No public collapse. Just photographs of smiling children. Christmas parties, campaign speeches, and a marriage that looked untouchable. But behind the gates of that mansion, something was quietly rotting for years. And the worst part? Maria was living beside the truth long before she could finally face it. In 1997, Maria gave birth to their youngest son, Christopher. 5 days later, the family housekeeper gave birth to another boy. Same house. Same father. But Maria didn't know that yet. For the next 14 years, both boys grew up around each other. Birthday parties. Family gatherings. School events. Holidays. And somewhere inside those moments, there was always something that didn't feel right. People didn't know this about Maria Shriver. She wasn't just Arnold's wife. She was a respected journalist. A Kennedy. A woman raised around power, discipline, and public pressure. She had her own career, her own identity, her own future. But quietly, she kept sacrificing pieces of it for the marriage. When Arnold became governor of California, Maria stepped back even further from television. She stood beside him through accusations, rumors, and political scandals. And she defended him publicly every single time. That's what makes this story hurt. Because while she was protecting his image, he was protecting a secret. And not just an affair. A second life. The strange part is, Maria already sensed something was wrong years before the truth exploded publicly. As the little boy Joseph got older, the resemblance became impossible to ignore. The same smile. The same jawline. The same body language. Friends later said Maria would sometimes look at Joseph, then slowly look back at Arnold, with this expression that said she already knew the answer to a question she was terrified to ask. And maybe that's the cruelest part of betrayal. Sometimes your heart figures it out long before your mind is ready. Then came 2011. The marriage counseling sessions. The direct question. The confession. Arnold finally admitted Joseph was his son. Just like that, 25 years of memories changed shape overnight. Every family photo suddenly looked different. Every holiday. Every anniversary. Every moment she once trusted. Gone. And when the story hit the news, it became global humiliation overnight. Not just for Maria. For their children too. Imagine being a teenager and suddenly discovering the boy you grew up around is actually your half-brother. That kind of pain doesn't stay in headlines. It follows people home. Years later, Arnold would finally admit publicly that the affair was the greatest failure of his life. Not his political scandals. Not Hollywood mistakes. This. Because deep down, he understood something people eventually learned too late. Success cannot protect you from the consequences of the people you hurt. But what shocked people most was Maria. She never turned the divorce into a circus. Never publicly destroyed him. Never wrote some revenge-filled tell-all book. Quietly, she rebuilt herself. Books. Advocacy. Family. Grandchildren. A life that belonged to her again. And maybe that's why this story stayed with people for so long. Not because a famous man cheated. Hollywood is full of those stories. But because underneath all the fame, all the power, all the cameras, this became something painfully human. A woman realizing the life she trusted had cracks in it for years. And a man realizing far too late that some apologies never fully reach the people they break. Because sometimes the hardest thing about betrayal isn't losing the person. It's losing the version of your life you thought was real.